On April 23rd, 2020, the United Arab Emirates told the world that they're moving half of their government onto AI agents in the next 2 years. Not chatbots, not automation, autonomous agents. Software that monitors, decides, and acts without waiting for a human to press the approve button. And here's the reason this will not fail. The UAE is grading their own ministers on how fast they can make this happen. Their performance reviews now depend on how quickly AI replaces the work of the people under them. That is the starting gun. And if you work in government, if you work in any service industry, if you work with forms or approvals or data or decisions, you need to hear the rest of this episode. Hi, I'm Bryce Barrows, and welcome to Future Ready. Welcome to Future Ready. This is the show where we cut through the noise around AI, career disruptions, and the economy that is forming in real time, so you can stay ahead of it instead of getting crushed by it. I've spent over 28 years in HR at some of the biggest tech companies in the world, when I have watched technology come in and take jobs from people who never saw it coming. But this time around, I'm foreseeing a bigger disruption. When disruptions come and people are ready, pivots happen. I have watched many people pivot in the past and come out much stronger on the other side, especially when disruptions like this happen. That is what we do here. We see it coming and we take action. Today, I'm going to do something different. Instead of a broad trend, I'm going to take one news story and pull it apart layer by layer, because this one story tells you exactly where the world is heading. What the UAE just announced is the most important AI policy move of 2026 so far. They have always been the innovators, especially in the Middle East region. Here is what we are covering: the announcement itself and whether 2 years is actually doable. We will also talk about what Agentic AI really means in plain English, why this is not just a UAE story but a global one, and most importantly, what it means for your career no matter where you live or what you do. So grab a cup of coffee, settle in, and let's go. So what actually got announced? Let us start with the facts, because the headline is big and the details are much bigger. Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, the Vice President and Prime Minister of the UAE and the ruler of Dubai, posted on his X account that the UAE will shift 50% of the government services to autonomous AI within 2 years. That instruction came down from the President of the UAE, Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan. The goal they stated out loud: to become the first country on earth to run agentic AI within the government. Agentic meaning AI that independently executes tasks, manages processes, and supports decision-making. That's their own words and vision. Now, here's where it gets serious. Sheikh Mohammed said, advanced AI can now monitor changes, provide analysis, issue recommendations, and carry out sequences of actions without human intervention. He described the technology as an executive partner to the government, not a tool, a partner. Now, you need to think about the words being used. Partner, not assistant, not a helper, a partner. That is a very different relationship between human and machines. Then came the executive structure. Ministers, director generals, and federal entities will be assessed over the next 2 years on their ability to keep pace with the transformation, how quickly these standards are implemented, how fast they adopt AI tools to reshape operations. KPIs as a senior government official is now literally how fast they move their own work to machines. All federal government employees will go through specialized AI training. Sheikh Mansour bin Zayed Al Nahyan is overseeing the whole program. A task force led by Mohammed Al Gargawi, the Minister of Cabinet Affairs, is running the execution. These are senior people who mean business. Their plan has owners, assignees, deadlines, and performance reviews all linked to this plan. In corporate terms, this is a project plan with teeth. Dubai has had this planned out for years, as you will see later. It already rolled out something called the AI Workforce Transformation Program, or AI Plus. Their target, 50,000 Dubai government employees to be trained. That was announced a couple of weeks before this federal announcement came out. So when the federal directive dropped, the ground was already prepped. They have also been consolidating government services into a unified platform, 121 digital services in one place, branded as a zero bureaucracy drive. This is a vision in the making. Some countries look for ways to make life easier for their people, like the UAE, while others do the opposite. So the UAE have the pipes partly laid already. Okay, so let's talk about the announcement. So is this actually doable in 2 years? The short answer is that only time will tell. But keep in mind the UAE has always been very competitive and future thinking and will not shy away to get things done. They have always believed in the fastest, the biggest, the tallest, the most innovative. You get the picture. And their progress, their plan is exactly where your career is going to live for the next 5 years. So pay close attention. All eyes are focused on them achieving this goal. You see, the UAE has been preparing this since 2017. They appointed the world's first Minister of State for Artificial Intelligence almost a decade ago. While other countries were still arguing about whether AI was just a bubble, the UAE was building a national AI strategy and pointing it at 2031. They had a vision, while the rest were debating. Secondly, there is a political will. When the president and prime minister of a country both personally back a project and put 2 cabinet level sponsors on it, resistance disappears fast. This is not a proposal waiting for budget approval. This is already budgeted, staffed, and accounted for. Thirdly, structural simplicity. The UAE is not a very highly populated country. It's wealthy and centralized. They do not have 50 state governments like the US to negotiate with. They do not have a divided Congress. They don't have red tape at every turn. They do not have decades of legacy systems accumulated across hostile departments. You see, decisions travel fast. Fourthly, tech is finally ready. In 2023, Agentic AI was a demo. In 2024, it was a proof of concept. In 2025, it started working. In 2026, it is shipping in real production systems. The capability curve crossed the line for exactly this kind of deployment in the last 12 months. Fifthly, they already have the human side warmed up. You see, they have 50,000 government employees going through a structured AI training, senior leaders leading AI strategy, managers learning how to redesign workflows, chief AI officers named inside each entity, product and service owners learning how to turn ideas into AI solutions and able to measure them. The people side of the change is already moving. Sixthly, there is a monetary incentive. Dubai has said publicly that an AI-driven government is expected to add over 10 billion dirhams to GDP within 2 years, with a long-term target of 100 billion dirhams in annual digital economy contribution. When a government transformation has a clear economic upside attached to it, it does not stall. So that is the yes that I see this happening. Now, having said that, there are a couple of things that I see that they could face as issues. Problem number one, agentic AI is still unreliable. An agent that handles your Netflix preferences or Spotify playlist is one thing. An agent that handles a widow's pension claim or a work visa extension, or even a commercial license approval is a very different thing. The cost of a mistake means a human life disrupted, and current agent systems still hallucinate, still chain errors together, and still misread context under pressure. Problem number two, the definition of 50% is a question. When they say this, what does it mean? Is it a service where the agent does end-to-end work with no human involvement at all? Or is it a service where a human approves the agent's output? Those are radically different things. This is what I have been saying for months in my videos, podcasts, and articles, that a human loop will be needed at least for the next 2 years, and why I keep emphasizing that those people who can work with AI, review what it spits out, is the next evolution in your job. If you don't start working on that, you will be left behind and lose your job to someone who knows how to handle it. Problem number 3, integration complexity. The UAE has 7 emirates, each with its own government layer on top of the federal layer. Now, even with consolidation efforts, the data plumbing between these systems is not fully united. You see, agents need clean, connected data to act. Messy data turns autonomous agents into autonomous disasters. Problem number 4, accountability. When an AI agent denies your license renewal or approves a fraudulent transaction, who is liable? The minister, the software vendor, the chief AI officer of that entity? Legal frameworks for agentic accountability are not written yet, not in the UAE, not anywhere. You cannot scale autonomy without answering this first, and answering it will take loads of time. Problem number 5, security. An autonomous agent with access to government systems is the biggest attack surface in the history of cybersecurity. Every vulnerability in that agent is a door into citizens' data, financial records, identity systems. The UAE will need to build a defense of a scale nobody has ever done before. The company that gets the contract to ensure data and system security will have their hands full. Problem number 6, change management. You see, change management inside a workforce is brutal. 50,000 government employees being told their jobs are going to be reshaped around AI agents is not a training program. This is going to raise a lot of questions in the employee base. Some employees will adapt, some will quietly resist, and some will eventually leave. This is what I have seen through the years in HR. Cultural friction is the hidden tax on every transformational program ever run, and nobody is immune to it. So this is my verdict. This is what I think. They will announce 50%. The 50% they ship in 2 years will be the easy stuff. Document renewals, status checks, permit applications with low judgment complexity, information lookups, simple customer service, scheduling, payments, and notifications. The other half will be mid-complexity services that will have a human quietly sitting behind the agent, catching mistakes and signing off. And that is fine. That is how every major technology development has happened over the years. Planes did not fly themselves on day one. ATMs did not replace every teller on day one. What matters is not whether they literally hit 50% of services in 2 years. What matters is that they will cross a threshold of credibility that no other country has crossed to date. They can easily set the record of being the first country in the world to have agentic AI, and that threshold is the real announcement. Every other government on earth will have a reference point, and that is that the UAE moved. Now who's next? Segment 3, what agentic AI actually means. Okay, let's slow down for a minute, because this term agentic is being thrown around a lot and most people do not actually know what it means. So if you do not understand the difference between a chatbot and an agent, you're going to miss what is happening. Let me share with you the 3 levels. Level 1, chatbots. You ask a question, it gives you an answer, and that is it. The famous AI assistants most people used in 2023 and 2024 were mostly this. It was basically smart search with personality. They do not do anything. They just tell you what you need to hear. Level 2, automation. You tell a system to do a task. It does that one task. Refund a customer, send a reminder, approve a form. If it meets these 5 criteria, traditional software automation has been doing this for 20 years. It is rule-based. It does exactly what it is being told to do. No creativity, no adaptation, no judgment. That leads me to level 3, agentic. Now, this is different. This is a system that you give a goal to, and it figures out the steps. It decides which tools to use. It checks its own work. It reruns what did not go well. It asks for help when it needs to. It takes multiple step actions across multiple systems towards an outcome. Not a task, an outcome. Example, old way. A citizen applies to renew a business license. The form goes to Department A, which checks the data, then to Department B, which verifies the payment, then to Department C, which issues approval. Each step has a human signing off. Total time, about 10 days. And in some countries, yes, I'm looking at you, South Asia, it is more because of the useless bureaucracy put in play. Now, here's the agentic way. Citizens ask the AI in plain language to renew their business license. The agent pulls their identity, checks their compliance history, calculates the fees, initiates payment, files the renewal, issues the updated license, notifies the citizen. Total time, roughly 3 minutes. Zero human intervention, zero humans in the middle. That simple. That is the difference. And that is what the UAE is saying they will do for half of their government services. Now, what will actually go first? If you ask me, my bet is high volume, low judgment services. Things like driver's license renewals, utility bill inquiries, visa status checks, appointment bookings, tax filings below a certain complexity threshold. Maybe also permit applications with clear rules. You see, these are perfect agentic targets because the decisions are mostly rule-based. What do I mean by this? It follows a workflow. The volume justifies the bill, and the consequences of a small error are recoverable. What will stay human at least for now? Anything involving serious judgment, child custody cases, medical malpractice reviews, criminal investigations, complex tax disputes, anywhere context, ambiguity, and accountability really matter, humans will still be sitting on the table, maybe supported by agents, but not replaced by them. So when you see that UAE headline, in my opinion, they're hunting down the high volume, repeatable stuff and letting the agents run that. Segment 4, why this is not just a UAE story. Here is the thing about UAE. They have always been the proof of concept country for the rest of the world. When they decide to build the tallest building on earth, they did it. When they decided to run a successful sovereign wealth strategy, they did it. When they decided to become the aviation hub of the Middle East, they did that as well. They succeed often enough that the rest of the world watches them for a signal, and this signal is going to be received very clearly in a lot of capital cities. Let me tell you who's going to react first. Saudi Arabia. Saudi has Vision 2030. They are already pouring a huge amount of money into AI, building NEOM and positioning themselves as the next big tech power in the region. They cannot afford to let the UAE own the agentic government story. So expect a counter announcement, probably bigger in scope, probably with a bigger number in a month or two. Singapore. Singapore has been running a digital government strategy for years. They're going to look at this and say, how do we match or beat it? I would bet money we see a Singapore announcement come within the next 6 months or so that frames their own AI government transformation more aggressively. Next is Estonia. Now, Estonia is already the most digital government in the world. They have been doing paperless government since the 2000s. They are now going to have to decide whether to stay the quiet world leader or come out and flex their own agentic roadmap. My guess is that they will flex that muscle. Next is the United Kingdom and the United States. Now, these are going to be different stories. Both have massive legacy systems, political division, and federal structures that make this kind of announcement almost impossible politically. But the private sector consultants inside these governments, the Accentures, the Deloittes, the PwCs, are going to package the UAE case and shop it to every single agency head in Washington and Whitehall. Not for a 2-year transformation, but at least for a 5-year one. But the wheels will eventually turn. Now, let's talk about the private sector. Now, this is where the real ripples will hit, and these are the ones that will affect you. You see, every CEO reading the UAE headlines this week is thinking the same thing. If a government can move half of its services to AI in 2 years, why is my company still approving expense reports with 12 steps? Why do I have 60 people in procurement? Why does my customer service team need to be this big? How can I cut my most expensive costs that decrease my profits? What does this cost? Human capital. You see, every CEO's job is to maximize profits, keep investors happy, and he doesn't care how he does it. You see, his mega bonus and huge salary is tied to this. Expect a wave of enterprise agentic AI programs to launch in the next 2 quarters that directly reference the UAE move as proof of what is possible. Departments like HR, finance, procurement, legal, and customer operations are the 5 major functions most at risk. If that is your function, if that is your team, you need to start paying attention this week, not this year, this week. Segment 5, what this means for your career. Okay, here's the part you actually came for. What does this mean for you? So let me be direct, the way I always am. The UAE announcement is not just about the UAE. It is a leading indicator. It tells you where the puck is going. And the puck, my friends, is going to be agentic AI across any work that involves processing information, moving it between systems, and applying rules and making repeatable decisions. If that describes any part of your job, and for most knowledge workers, it describes at least 40% of the work that you do. And if that is the case, you need to move now. There seriously is no time to waste. Here is what move actually looks like. I'm going to give you 5 actions. Write them down if you can. Action number 1. Stop trying to be better at the task. If your job today is processing forms, approving claims, writing summaries, pulling reports, scheduling meetings, chasing status updates, the answer is not to get faster at those tasks. The answer is to get out of those tasks. Agents are going to do them much cheaper and much faster than you ever will. Your competitive edge is not speed, it is direction. Action number 2, learn how agents actually work. I'm not talking about prompting. Prompting is yesterday's skill. I need you to understand how agents are designed. What is a tool call? What is an orchestrator? What is a memory? What is a guardrail? What is an evaluation loop? You do not need to learn to code. You need to understand all of this well enough to be in the room when decisions about deploying it are being made. What makes you useful? Prompting alone does not. Action number 3, build your judgment reputation. You see, the work that agents cannot do well is the work that requires context, ambiguity, ethics, relationships, and cross-functional judgment. That is where human value is going to concentrate. Start building a reputation now for being the person with good judgment. Volunteer for the ambiguous problems. Show your thinking in writing. Document the decisions you make and why you made them. Your career insurance is not your job title. It is your judgment reputation. Action number 4. Get adjacent to the AI rollout. Do not oppose it. If your organization announces an agentic AI initiative, do not sit it out hoping that it's going to fail. It's not going to fail. Get onto the team, volunteer to be the business side liaison or your department liaison. Become the person the tech team calls when they need to understand the real world workflow. That position is gold. It is where the people who keep their careers through this transition are going to be. That is the place where they're going to live for the next 3 years at least. Action number 5, watch the UAE closely. I'm really serious here. What the UAE ships or fails to ship in the next 12 months is going to be your roadmap. It is the most important real-time case study that you need to be working on. Which services went first, how long they really took, where the public pushback came, which roles got eliminated and which got redefined, which jobs got created, what did not exist before. That playbook is free public information. You just have to follow it. And in order to follow it, you can do a very simple thing is by setting up Google Alerts. If you don't know how to do this, watch a video on YouTube. I'm sure you'll be able to figure it out. It's free and it's easy. Follow the UAE AI office on LinkedIn. Read Gulf News. Read the Khalij Times. Watch what happens and copy the lessons for yourself and for your team. One more thing. If you are a government employee, anywhere in the world, hear me out clearly. The public sector has been a safe harbor from automation for decades. That era is ending. Not tomorrow, but faster than you think. The private sector will move and will move very fast, as some of these companies will want to provide some of their services to the public sector, while some would want higher profits as fast as possible. Your union cannot stop agentic AI. Your job description cannot stop it. The only thing that can carry you forward is your willingness to reshape your own role before someone else reshapes it for you. Yes, at the same time, I can hear many people say, but China is saving their people. You see, in my opinion, China will do this for the time being, but will not be able to do it for long. Capitalism is running the world. And if capitalism is involved, then profits are involved. If profits are involved, then minimum cost will always be looked at as the main route to increasing profits. That is how businesses run. And we in the private sector all work for profitable businesses. If the business is not profitable, means that you don't have a job. The changes have already begun. Huge number of downsizings have happened not only in big organizations, but also in smaller ones. And when I talk about these, I'm just talking about the first quarter of 2026. Most of them have been masked as downsizings because of improvement in productivity. Some organizations have been very open and stated that it is because of AI, but many haven't because of the fear of backlash. We have seen more than 150,000 tech workers cut across 500 companies in the beginning of 2026 alone. At least 45 CEOs have publicly named AI as the main reason for these layoffs. You can verify these numbers yourself. In fact, Goldman Sachs has warned that up to 300 million jobs worldwide could be lost or reshaped because of AI. Organizations like Microsoft, Amazon, Meta, Alphabet, Oracle are some companies to name from the tech industries. But the issue is that it is not only the tech industries that have been affected. Other industries have also been hit, especially the HR, banking, and finance industries. Companies like Citigroup, BlackRock, Block, which is Square, Coinbase, Salesforce, Workforce, PayPal, and Paycom are some that we can name. There are many more companies in law and logistics that have not been mentioned here. Let me wrap this one up. The UAE has just started the clock. 2 years, 50% of government services on autonomous AI. Will they hit it? Will they get close enough to prove to the rest of the world that this model works? I think yes. And once they do, the rest of the world is going to move. You see, this episode was never about this one Middle East country. It was about the shape of the next 5 years. If you work with information, forms, rules, approvals, decisions, or services of any kind, the agentic wave is coming for your job. That is not me panicking or fear-mongering. That is plain and simple math. If you run a business or know someone who does, ask them this. They will confirm what I am saying. Don't hide from the change. I know that this is a lot to digest, but having said that, your response should not be fear. Your response is to move and to move fast so that you can capitalize and come out of this smelling like roses. It's pretty simple. Learn about agents, build judgment, get adjacent to the rollouts, watch the live case study unfold, reshape your own work before the work reshapes you. If this episode helped you see something clearly, share it with one person who needs to hear it this week. It could be a co-worker, a friend, a family member whose career is sitting in that blast radius. You might be the reason they move in time. Start moving today. Do a free one-on-one audit with me or one of my team members to understand how you should move forward in your role. Are you safe? Is your job next? Or can you do something to transition into a better paying role than you currently are at? My sessions with you will answer that. So don't be shy. Don't put it off to later. Later may end up causing you, your job, and your livelihood. Just go to www.brycebarrows.com. You can find it here somewhere and look for the one-on-one session scheduling area and slot in a 30-minute call with me. Trust me, you will not regret it. I will see you in the next episode where Anthropic's CEO is talking about how AI is taking coding jobs away and which are the jobs that will survive. Here's a hint. It is something that I have already been talking about since the beginning of this year. So until then, Tuesday, May 26, 2026. And once again, remember this. The future belongs to those who are ready. Go be unstoppable. Thank you.